set this up. So, okay. Okay, that's ready to go. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Uday Akkaraju. I am the CEO and co-founder of a company called Bond.AI. As you can see, Bond is an omni-channel conversational intelligence platform for banks. This is a platform that will transform banks from a 1960 model to the banks of the future. So before I get started how it works, let me ask you a couple of questions. How many of you know the exact population of the United States? Just take a guess. Somebody was close. It's 321 million. Okay. So let me ask a tougher question. Do you know how many of those actually struggle and are stressed about managing their finances? Always. Yeah, just guess a percentage. No. So it's 72%. It's a huge number. I mean, this is a technology generation, right? We have a lot of tools, but something is not working, and this is a problem. If you dig into details, I mean, it gets even bad. 57% do not have the right credit cards. 77% do not have the right mortgages. 69% live paycheck to paycheck with absolutely no savings. This is bad. So something is not working. So people are in trouble, and when people are in trouble, they need help. And when they need help, what do? They go to their banks. 50% of them actually expect help and advice from their primary financial institution. And 90% of them actually expect personal finance management from their banks. I had a life-changing moment myself. I was in that 72%, unfortunately. So I had a big student loan sitting on my head, a mortgage, a car loan. My credit was not good. This was 3 years ago. So the situation was bad. So what did I do? I went to my bank too, right? So my bank didn't have the necessary tools to actually help me out of that situation. So what do? I just have two options. I just had really two options left with me. One, just hope. Just sit in hope, hoping that my finances will magically fall back on track. That doesn't happen, I'll tell you that. And most of us actually think, and actually that is the reason why all of us struggle. The second option I had was build something for myself. So luckily I had that skill, I had that patience first, so to build something. So I started designing a program for myself. I started using 17 different apps, trying to consolidate everything together, and it took me 18 months to successfully come out of that hole. So that's what I did. So it is tough. I mean, that is the reason why there's a steep learning curve. That is the reason why people actually struggle and don't even attempt that. So when people are in trouble, they expect their banks to do it. But the problem is 9 out of 10 banks in the country do not have the necessary tools. They do not have the necessary infrastructure to help their consumers. But what banks do have is a lot of data, right? They have a lot of data. If that data is used effectively to target and serve their consumers, it'll be a fantastic thing, right? So taking that metaphor, taking data from the banks, taking the metaphor of what I did for myself, we created Bond.AI. And we created 3 great modules in that platform. The first one is a predictive engine. The predictive engine takes a lot of data, crunches it in respect to a lot of user needs, and it gives banks, it predicts for the banks what the consumer needs well in advance. It not only predicts what the consumer needs, but also gives them a solution how to address that particular problem. And the second one is an algorithmic money management module. Banks can simply deploy this module to their consumers, and it will automatically help manage their finances. It will help them optimize their finances, remove the inefficiencies in their profile, help them save, and also help them invest. So as soon as you deploy, consumers' finances are magically and automatically set. And the third module is a conversational intelligence module. How many of the consumers actually really go to their banks nowadays, right? They don't. So still, the bank wants to have a touch point with the consumers, and the consumers want to have a touch point with their banks. So this engine actually facilitates that communication between the banks and the consumers through any channel. It can be your phone, it can be Siri, it can be Alexa, it can be OnStar in your car, it can be Facebook Messenger, Slack, or even simply SMS. So it's an omni-channel conversational intelligence engine where the consumers and the banks can keep in touch with each other. So we provide the whole infrastructure as a service for banks, and this is exactly what a bank needs. Everything a bank needs on a single platform. It can power their digital strategy, it can retain customers, gain new customers, and also create new revenue streams for the banks. So rather than talking more about this, let me show you a couple of examples how it works. So I have an Alexa, it's just an Alexa Echo tab. So this is portable, that is why we are trying to use it. So I can simply ask any of my banking questions to that, and I hope it'll answer. So I can ask, let me start with a simple example like, let's take payments. Payments is the most simple answer, right? So I can ask, Alexa, ask Bond to pay my utility bill.
Sure. Your utility bill for this month is $55. Paying it from your checking account. Confirm?
No.
Okay. Whenever you are ready to pay, let me know.
See, that's it. It's as simple as that. So let us take a little more complicated example like recommendations. So we like to take recommendations from banks, what product we need, is that product good for me or not? So I can simply ask, Alexa, ask Bond if I'm using the right credit cards.
Let me see. Looking at your spending pattern, your current credit cards do not seem to be the right fit. Shall I suggest you suitable cards for your profile?
Yes, please.
Great. The best combination of credit cards for you would be a Capital One Rewards card for your frequent travels, and a Chase Platinum card for best cashback on your daily spending. Would you like to replace your credit cards with this new combination?
Of course. Why not?
Okay, done. I will now apply for the new credit cards. When you receive them, I will help you cancel the old credit cards and also move your subscriptions.
That's it. So let's take one last complicated example, right? So when we speak to banks, they always say we want to help their consumers buy something, they have a goal, we want to help them achieve that goal. So the first and most complicated example we see is buying a house. So I can even ask Bond to help me buy a house. This is the last example we see. So Alexa, tell Bond I wish to buy a house.
Great. Where is this house located?
Little Rock.
And what is the value of this house?
$200,000.
Let me analyze. Okay, I can help you get 20% down payment in 240 days with the best mortgage offer ever. So ready to start saving for your new house?
Yes.
Awesome. In the next 240 days, I will help you save, optimize your expenses, and invest to meet your goal. Let us rock.
Yeah, that's it. So this is the future of our banking, right? Yeah. So this is a simple user experience for the consumer, but on the back, we do a tremendous amount of data analytics behind. So we crunch the user spending pattern, the transaction history, wealth management, loyalty, a lot of data. So we crunch a lot of data behind. We get the data from the banks through the FIS API gateway, and our AI and artificial intelligence analyzes that, and we push it through our front-end channels like voice, text, or customer care. And for the banks, it is a spectrum of artificial intelligence modules. They can simply choose the modules we already built, or they can even build modules on top of. So it's infinitely scalable. Banks can build on top of our data analytics platform. FIS can build on top of that. So it's huge. And the market opportunity is a $6 trillion opportunity. $6 trillion is sitting in bank accounts today without being managed properly, and only $390 billion is being managed. So there's a huge gap. So we are targeting a market of $586 million in the next 5 to 6 years. So this is the question. So why now? As everyone knows, banks have been experiencing a declining growth since 2000. It is partially because of the 2007-2008 crisis, but that is not the only one. the rise of the unregulated technology companies is a big concern. In 2015, JP Morgan CEO famously quoted, "Silicon Valley is coming, they all want to eat our lunch." Banks need to stay relevant. For banks that they need to stay relevant, they have two big assets. One is they have consumers. Consumers still want to go to a bank, and they have the second big asset is data. So Bond.AI is actually using these two to help banks stay relevant and power their growth into the future. We are the only company. It's actually doing a comprehensive, a holistic approach. Whatever a bank needs, we are giving them and pushing through an omni-channel strategy. So we are the only company which is doing such a comprehensive job. And our roadmap, we've been developing the product from March and April. After we came to the program, we started building our omni-channel architecture. And today, as you saw, we have a working product, a working demo. And we are currently talking to 5 different banks, and hopefully we'll roll out a pilot in the month of August with 1 or 2 of them. How do we make money? We charge the banks an implementation fee, a platform fee, and a license fee. It depends on the size of the bank, so we have quite a flexible model. So if we have 10 banks in the next 3 years, 55 million is the revenue we're going to generate. We're currently talking to 5 banks on a serious note, and I hope we'll be closing that very soon. So to roll out our platform to these initial banks, we are trying to raise $500K as of today. So we believe we have a revolutionary product, and we also have a very talented team behind. So I'm Uday Akkaraju. I have over 6 years experience in designing artificial intelligence systems. I have a background in interaction design and cognitive science. I was recently recognized as an international innovator by the New York Economic Development Corporation out of hundreds of entrepreneurs spanning 5 continents. And Madhavi is our chief of product. She was working with Cognizant. She is our champion with natural language processing and machine learning. She also manages our dev shop back in India. And Michael supports us with the bank partnerships. He was previously serving as a vice president at JP Morgan Asset Management, and is the co-founder of a very successful FinTech startup called Common Bond. And Brian helps us with the investor relations, and he's the CEO of Venture Out and sits on the board of New York Innovation Collective. So that's a great team we have, and I believe we have a revolutionary product, and that is Bond.AI. I always say, managing money is a full-time job, but the problem is we all have a full-time job. So we foresee a future where Bond becomes the universal financial partner to all of you through your own banks. Thank you.